Now, okay, we're on, and I have Marc Scarborough with me, and I've known Marc. How long, Marc? We have known each other for a long time.
It has been a while. Every bit of probably 14, 15 years, I would think.
Wow, that's amazing. So, as I said, we worked together before, and then each of us went our own way. And I actually reinvented myself after my last company, so I ended up in e-commerce. But you have recently decided, you're going to sell something online.
hmm
You are going to change your life and do something different completely, although you're still staying sort of in the sales situation. And
Yeah, and we're
then,
going to talk about that here in a second. But yeah,
I
I
know, right?
understand what
I
you're
know,
saying.
yes. But you lost your job and you decided, well, hell, what are you going to do now? So take it up. Tell us all
Yeah,
about it.
where's my new sandbox, in other words?
Yes, exactly, exactly. Where's your new sandbox? I like that
Well,
analogy.
and the truth is how many people my age, 60 plus, they're cooking along, they're doing great in the job, and life is good.
Yes,
And then
yes,
all of a sudden you get this call out of the clear blue one day and said it's over,
yeah, yeah. Just
literally.
go, go, go.
And
Yeah. Mm.
my job was going good. I'd been with that company pushing 8 years now. Had gone from a part-time rep to a VP, from managing myself to being responsible for over 550 people across 20 plus states.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I you know I was excited. I was really into
I
what I was
know.
doing.
I know.
But when I got that call, and they were like, "Well, Marc, we've lost a lot of business, and unfortunately, we're going to have to cut back, and that means you."
Yeah. Yeah.
And my response was, "I didn't cause us to lose that business. Why me?"
Yes. Yes.
And they're like, "Well, this was HR
Mm-hmm.
talking to me,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, we don't have an answer for that. Today's
Yes.
your last day,
Yes. Yeah.
20th of December."
Yeah.
And so after I got through being mad, which took a couple of days, I
I
started thinking,
bet.
okay, now, again, where's my new sandbox
Mm-hmm.
going to be?
Mm-hmm.
And my wife and I talked about it, and the one thing that I realized is at my age, I can't give somebody else another 8 years
No.
and then let them pull this stunt on me again.
Exactly.
So, so
Exactly.
it really needs to be mine,
Yes.
something that nobody can take away from me.
Yes.
And so, you know, I was in the process of trying to answer that question, and succeeded in breaking my ankle.
Oh. Wow.
And on a ladder, I fell off a ladder, broke my ankle,
Wow.
found myself in the hospital, went through two different surgeries. Um, it was quite a break. And it's interesting, how the good Lord will tell you what you really need to be doing.
Yes.
He'll answer the question for you if you can't come up with it yourself. And so, one of the first things I found out from the doctor was that the break that I created with this fall, he'd only seen one time before.
Oh,
He said
wow.
most people don't break those bones in their ankle.
Wow.
And interesting enough, at the time that I broke my ankle, I was in the process of training to run a marathon. And so every morning I was out there, 5 miles Monday through Friday, 10 miles Saturday, Sunday, every week. And the interesting thing is I enjoyed every minute
Yes.
of it. I
I
had my
know.
headset on, I was in
Yep.
my little cocoon, and down
Mm-hmm.
the road I went.
Mm-hmm.
And when I told the doctor, he chuckled. He says, "Well, your days of running a marathon are probably over with."
Probably, yeah. Especially
Yeah,
with a weak ankle, you can't do that. I've got weak knees, so I'm
yeah,
definitely not running marathons.
yeah. So, at first I accepted his answer,
Mm.
and I thought, well, stink.
Mm.
And a good friend of mine said, "Well, Marc, a bike is a good door prize."
Mm.
He said, "So get you a bike. When you get to where you can move
Mm-hmm.
that ankle and you can
Mm-hmm.
depend on it, get yourself a bike,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and just instead of running and walking,
Yeah.
cycle time."
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can get into
And
that.
so you were just recovering. This was your recovering mode, trying to get your ankle back, right? And so
hmm
when did you like go? Okay, so I'm going through this. Oh, you were cycling. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Well, no, no, no. I mean, I understand where your question was coming from.
Yeah.
Where was the epiphany?
Yes.
right?
Yes. What's the
Basically.
aha moment?
Yeah, and it was when I talked to a good friend of mine, Chuck, and interesting enough, from work, or from my previous job, I should say.
Yes. Yes.
And Chuck actually was the one that ran a marathon first, and it inspired me to get off my butt and start doing the road work myself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he was the impetus for all of this.
Yes.
Except me breaking my ankle.
Yes.
And but he was the one that said, well, look, if you can't run, you can cycle. I thought, okay, now I can get into that.
Yes.
But that at that time, I was still in the recovery mode. I was not even able to walk at that time when Chuck told me about this. And so I started doing some reading, and just, while I'm sitting there not able to get out of bed because of my leg, just started doing some homework and understanding, cycling and the different kinds of bikes and stuff like that, and how you train.
Yes.
And then where are there bike clubs here in the North Houston area that I might want to get to be a part of?
Yes. Yes.
And then I was talking to another friend, and he's like, well, what if you fall off that bike, Mark? And I'm thinking, whoa, I hadn't thought about that. I'm no longer bulletproof. I need to quit thinking I am.
Yep. No, I've done that.
And so that started the idea and the conversation about the trikes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And there are some competitions type bikes.
Yes.
And so it was just one conversation after another, one piece of information after another. And then it occurred to me that I am not the only guy my age, or gal for that matter, ladies included in this conversation, that are challenged physically some way.
Yes.
For whatever reason.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Whether they were born with it or caused it, didn't matter.
Yes.
And I'm finding out all this cool information, and just getting inspiration from people, from stuff I'm reading, blogs I'm reading. And then it occurred to me, this is an interesting story to tell.
Yes, yes.
And because the doctor's telling me I can't run a marathon, I'm going to prove them wrong.
Yes.
And I've got to get back to health, but I don't know how yet.
Yes, yes.
I don't know what the pace is going to look like. I don't know which bike to ride, which one not. But I know I want to do this. Okay? And so that was what created this whole idea of why not blog the journey.
Yes.
Okay. And the two questions came up is, okay, we've got a great story to talk about.
Yes.
We've got a fantastic story to talk about. But there's going to be an awful lot of expense here. Can I monetize this?
Right? Yes,
to both pay for itself and maybe help me in my retirement years.
Yes.
And the interesting thing, and this was the part that I kind of got stumped the first time we talked about this, was, I worked for a living. I chose to go to work for my previous employer to pay my bills.
Yes.
Okay? And that was the beginning of the relationship. I have bills to pay. I've got a responsibility.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
And, but now, as I looked at this conversation, this journey that I'm going to have to go through to get myself as healthy as I possibly can. The doctors and therapists are saying, it could be 80%, it could be 90%.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We really don't know. And the therapist even said some of it is kind of up to you, Mark.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, responsibility accepted. I have no problem with that.
Yes.
And so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, now this is really going to be cool.
Yes.
I'm going to be doing something I want to do anyway. But if I put it out in the public realm, what I'm doing, then that becomes a motivation to me, because I can't be inconsistent and expect success with my blog.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Every morning when I get out, either on my stationary bike here in the house or the bike that I'll buy and get out on the street, there's going to be a certain expectation from my audience, from my tribe, the followers, that I'm feeding the story every day.
But I've still come back to the question: how are you going to monetize it?
Oh, now look.
Okay.
Look, let me. This is a part. I need to explain it my way, and you'll understand when I get through.
All right.
Okay. There's going to be, like I said, there's going to be that expectation that every day I'm out there.
Yes.
Now, the interesting thing is to decide on a bike that I'm going to use.
Yes.
Okay, whether it's my stationary or it's my street bike, either one.
Yes.
I'm going to have to do some homework on that.
Yes.
And from what I'm finding, the costs are just huge.
Yes.
I mean, these bikes, these trikes are not cheap.
I know. Yeah.
And so people like me are finding out the same thing.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I will do is I will create a buy-sell section of my blog where you can go get your bike.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
And here's the interesting thing. These headsets, I don't know if you can see them or not. This is my headset.
Yes.
And I have a little, what amounts to a fanny pack that I wear under my shirt because I don't want anybody seeing me wearing a fanny pack. But I put my smartphone in there.
Yes.
And there's a couple of apps I have on that phone. I have an app on my Apple phone here, or Apple Watch. And so they tell me all the information I need, from pace to distance to heart rate.
Everything.
All of these things. But Veronica, I had to go through about a dozen different apps to finally land on the set that I'm using.
Yes.
And I'm confident that once I start this conversation, somebody else is going to point out something else to me.
Yes.
And so I can help people save money on their bikes.
Yes. Because you've already done the research. Yeah, exactly.
And somebody is going to get healed one day or tired of their bike and want to get rid of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I will be the place to go to help sell that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I will help my audience save on bikes.
Yes.
And there'll be a charge for that.
Yes.
Okay, it won't be for free, but there'll be an opportunity there.
Yes.
Again, back to these headsets.
Yes.
This is now my second set of these.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is there is a name brand version of this very headset that's like $120.
Yep, that's pretty normal.
I paid $15 for these things.
Whoa! And they haven't fallen apart yet?
2 years. Same perfect sound, everything. And so I've discovered a lot of those kind of things. That fanny pack you heard me mention.
Yes.
I saw something really cool out there at a 5K that I ran a couple of years ago. And there was this gentleman, he was several years older than me, but he had this patch on the back of his shirt that I never forgot.
Yeah, okay.
And it said 46 model in a car. It was a 46 Chevy, 46 model, still running. And I thought, that is cool.
I know, right?
And I want everybody to have their T-shirt.
Yeah.
I want everybody to announce, I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 80, I'm whatever the heck I am.
Yes.
I want them to put that on and let the whole stinking world know.
Yes.
Boom, I'm out there.
And I love this idea because I have, and one of my other little clients, Meg Staples, has her Tribe Athletics, who supplies T-shirts and her design, her spandex pants, leggings, and hats, and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff for her runners, because she started running, she lost 40 pounds, and it's a viable business. And she's actually thinking about giving up her job to actually run the business. Well, right now she has to start maybe running the business properly. She's a teacher with no work, which is amazing, right? But so she has to make it work. But that is such a great idea for you to. But for also, the best thing is creating that tribe before you even start. Is getting them excited. Yes.
It's I'm going to actually get to have the best of two worlds now.
Yes.
I'm going to put myself in a situation where I must perform.
Yes.
To one, help myself and strengthen my leg to the best that I can possibly get it, and two, inspire an audience and to grow an audience.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Or tribe, as it's called.
Yeah.
And and I won't go into detail on this right now, but there's a book that I would tell anybody that's that's thinking about creating a blog.
Yes.
There is a book called 1,000 True Fans.
Yes.
And it's written by Kevin Kelly.
Yes.
Easy name to remember, Kevin Kelly.
Yes.
But if you read that book, you'll find out real easy, real quick how, I hate to use the word profitable, but how
Yes,
you can
absolutely.
monetize a
Yeah,
blog
yeah.
very easily.
Yeah, I mean,
And
that monetizing a blog is not a new concept. It's been around for a while. I mean, that's how people started with blogs, and then making it work. But it's having the right product, and then also, as you say, you've got to be consistently getting that blog online and writing, and just, so that your customers expect something's coming out every Wednesday or every Thursday or something like that. And I like the way that you are also doing your lives online already, just by speaking to people about your experiences. I always say that you've got to stay in front of your customer, and having your face in front of your customer on Facebook right now is having a video, and being in front of your customer is priceless. I mean, you can't buy that type of marketing and awareness, of what you're doing. So hence I'm always online. So and I mean, we are doing this in our workshop right now, right? We're talking about blogging and what to do to blog and how to blog, even if you have an e-commerce store. I mean, that's even more essential to blog if you have an e-commerce store, because then you can sell stuff, right? So, okay, so tell us, what is the next step forward? We've got about 4 minutes left. What's the next step forward that you're going to do to in your timeline? Because I know you've got a timeline.
Right. Now, my goal to launch is basically 1 January.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Kick off year 2021.
Yes.
It's the prime time that the most people are considering health and
that's
and
right.
that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And going on diets, buying their Peloton.
Yes.
All of those things are going on.
Yes.
Between now and the end of March.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I plan to launch right smack in the middle of that.
Okay.
And it's a great way to kick off the new year. Again, I've got New Year's resolutions of my own.
Yes.
Right.
Well, yeah.
And
December resolutions going into New Year.
Yeah. Everything from right now I'm cycling every day.
Yes.
Right now I'm doing the exercises my therapist tells me every day. I'm going to get back out on the street. I had to stop for the last couple of weeks because my foot really hurt while I walked.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the cycle. I don't want to get too far off track. My schedule for the next what do we have here? Probably 9 weeks left in the year. 10 weeks.
Yes.
Is to start getting some of the basic foundational content created and ready to go.
Oh yeah.
To get the website itself up and ready to go.
Yeah.
And even do some like campaigns on Facebook.
Yes.
To start creating that tribe.
Yes.
And announcing the launch date.
Yes.
Okay. Why are we here? What the heck are we doing?
Oh, what are we doing here? Yes, exactly.
Invite your friends.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And in the meantime, doing homework on such things as these headsets,
I know.
the bikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And getting my Shopify stuff set up.
Yes, exactly. But you're going to have your blog as well.
Yeah, and so basically I'm up and running literally 1 January. That's the plan.
Well, that's fabulous. And I love the way when we were talking in the workshop about the blogging, you had your list up already. You know exactly what you're going to talk about. You've got all that scheduled, and that is so important, is to have that plan ready to go, so you don't have to think about every time you launch a new week, you go, oh, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to do? But you have your list ready to rock and roll, right?
Well, I want it to be a continuing story.
Yes.
That builds from 1 week to the next.
Yes.
And let's face it, two things. I want my audience to see a progression of the story, okay, of the information they're getting. And I'm just that kind of organized person that if my notes are organized, I'm organized, my message is organized, and people listening to me can keep up with it.
Yes. And they know where you're going. Exactly.
Right.
You can tell them where you're going, what you're going to do, and what's new in Marc's world. So thank you so much for popping in, Marc, and telling us about it, because I think this is so important, especially now that so many people have lost their jobs and they're going, what's next? I mean, it does take a little bit of time to decide, okay, so what's my next sandbox, right? I say is, what am I going to do when I grow up? So it took me a few months also to decide, well, you know what, I need to do e-commerce, right? I want to sell something. I'm still not selling anything, but I am teaching about it. But so yes, thank you very much, and we will have our next speaker up in on the hour, and we will see you in the questions and answers if anybody has a question for you, and we'll put all Marc's connections and his tribe on in the comments or in the descriptions, so you know where to find Marc if you want to see what his journey is like, where he's going, and you will actually learn a lot of stuff if you stick to him. Thanks, Marc, for popping in with us.
Appreciate your time.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.